Tonight at 7, a longtime business owner told to move his steel shop from underneath the local freeway, all because of a new state policy.
It's over for me at my age, you know. If I have to move, it's finished.
And neighbors are worried as well because of what it could bring to the neighborhood.
The businesses here are a key part of that line of defense against encampments, graffiti.
And it's expected to be another showdown over bike lanes as San Francisco considers a controversial reconfiguration on one of its busiest streets. A day of visibility with a much different tone. Members of the transgender community reflect on what's next after a wave of new federal policies targeting their rights.
Because of what's happening all across the country, that there are going to be more and more trans people coming to places like San Francisco and California.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. A San Francisco business owner who's been operating under a freeway for more than 20 years may be forced to close up shop soon. Caltrans recently served him with an eviction notice, all because of some leasing policy changes after a massive fire back in 2023 that started under an LA freeway and shut down traffic for more than a week. He was originally supposed to be out by today, but the date has been pushed back. Now, as Amanda Harry shows us, he and his neighbors are worried what comes next.
But this is the saw here.
Kevin Barry has been running his steel fabrication business here for more than 23 years.
A little bit of a lubricant on it.
In San Francisco's Dog Patch neighborhood under the 280 freeway. But soon, that could all change.
It's over for me at my age, you know. If I have to move, it's finished.
Barry leases this lot at the intersection of Iowa and 25th Street from the California Department of Transportation. He planned to be here for as long as he continued working, until this December.
I got a letter, and 2 letters, and it was a bit of a shock to the system. And like, Caltrans have been good.
But things have changed for the California Department of Transportation. Since the 2023 arson fire under Interstate 10 in Los Angeles, the department has been reviewing their lease program, saying, quote, the internal review has already led to changes in the types of leases Caltrans will allow near highway structures. These changes align with Caltrans' continued commitment to the safety of our highway users and preservation of the state highway system. Those changes led to Barry's eviction notice. But in the more than 2 decades in this location, he says there's never been a fire, and he removed 3 trailers to make it safer at Caltrans' request.
Fireproof the whole way around, like. After them 3 office buildings came down, there's fire extinguishers in about 15 different locations.
And the former executive director of the Dog Patch in Northwest Potrero Hill Green Benefit District, Julie Christensen, says he does more than just keep his property safe.
Kevin's our pride and joy. He's like the poster child.
She says he keeps an eye on the block, including the park across the street, maintained by the Green Benefit District. The group increases city services to keep the community spaces clean.
The businesses here are a key part of that line of defense against encampments, graffiti, trash, dumping, fires. That's kind of a constant battle down here.
If Barry is forced to shut down, he'll have to terminate his employees and stop caring for the neighborhood animals.
There's the birds I feed up there.
Initially, Barry was told he would have to be out by March 31st.
Put it in here now, and like that.
Caltrans has extended him a grace period. But that could run out at any time.
Just a little bit of lubricant on it.
In their statement, they say they're working with tenants to find a way to address the issue. Barry is trying to remain optimistic that they'll find a solution.
Hopefully, with the help of the good Lord, that we'll be able to keep it going.
And he'll keep going as long as he can.
Caltrans has 600 spaces near or under freeways that it's leasing out across the state. It's unclear how many other tenants are getting evicted. Oak Street, one of San Francisco's busiest streets, could lose a lane of traffic for a new bike lane. SFMA is expected to vote on this hotly debated plan tomorrow. This has been in the works for over 5 years now. If approved, 4 lanes of traffic on Oak would be reduced to 3 between Stanion and Baker to add a protected bike lane. 23 parking spots would also be taken away. The changes would mirror Fell Street on the other side of the Panhandle. Since those bike lanes were completed in 2020, SFMTA says Fell Street saw a significant drop in collisions involving cars, bikes, and pedestrians. This comes as another controversial bike lane is being dismantled. Crews were out grinding down the old pavement on Valencia Street to replace it with new asphalt. This is the latest phase in the removal of a center bike lane, which got a lot of backlash from local businesses. VTA light rail service has started once again in Santa Clara County. It had been stopped for more than 2 weeks while the drivers were on strike. A court order ended the strike just last week. So the buses started on Friday, but crews had to do inspections before the light rail started again. The orange line is running, as is part of the blue line. As for contract negotiations, the VTA says they don't have any meetings scheduled with the union. Teslas are being vandalized in Nevada. This is happening over the weekend. You can see the suspect circling the Cybertruck as it's parked overnight in the driveway. The owner of the damaged vehicle is offering a $25,000 reward for any information leading to an arrest. Nevada police say the person threw concrete at the windshield multiple times and slashed all 4 of the tires. Police say this is the second call they've received recently about Teslas being targeted and are asking anyone with information to give them a call. And car buyers are rushing to dealerships now across the Bay Area ahead of the 25% tariff on all imported cars going into effect this Thursday. Shoppers say the tariffs and the higher prices they'll cause sped up their timeline to buy.
The plan was exactly to get it in 2 months. 2 months. So yeah, because of the tariffs, I had to decide to get it. To get it today.
Experts say the tariffs will impact the price of both new and used cars. Rallies across the country today on this International Transgender Day of Visibility. It comes as President Trump has been taking aim at trans rights. Our Lauren Toms has more on how the community in San Francisco is fighting back.
At the San Francisco Flower Market, Cherry Javier weaves through rows of hydrangeas and roses, selecting blossoms for a night of celebration to honor her transgender siblings in a time when joy may feel like defiance. It's a brief escape from growing anxiety as the Trump administration rolls out a wave of policies targeting transgender rights.
I think for us, it really feels like we're in a kind of a make it or break it moment where, if we're not careful, we may not be able to recover for a long time.
After the 2024 election, Cherry quickly updated her California ID to mark F for female, and she noticed she wasn't alone.
And it definitely spurred on a lot of people to get their documents changed and updated, knowing that they would come for us immediately as scapegoats. And as a small, vulnerable group of people who they could target. When I went to the courts to get my name and gender changed, there was so many other trans people there who are doing the same exact thing.
Since returning to office in January, the Trump administration has advanced policies to narrow gender definitions, restrict gender-affirming health care, and ban transgender troops from serving in the military. But in San Francisco, there's a sense of safety as the city's sanctuary policies offer legal and emotional refuge. Honey Mahogany leads the Office of Transgender Initiatives. It's the first of its kind in the nation. She says nonprofits in the city are already seeing an increase in transgender people relocating here, and more are likely coming.
Because of what's happening all across the country, that there are going to be more and more trans people coming to places like San Francisco and California, and we've already started to see that.
It's an urgency felt on the ground. Carolina Osoria says the local group Trans March has been told to delay seeking nonprofit status until Trump leaves office.
Trans March in particular was in the process of applying for a 501c3, and unfortunately, we were advised to not pursue the process at the moment as a result of the current executive administration, but also funding streams. There's not much out there specifically at the moment, and if there is, it's very limited.
Federal funding is also drying up after the rollback of DEI programs, but the group is rallying around one another, finding strength in unity.
So being able to have events like this is crucial when folks are insisting that you don't exist and don't have a right to exist. Being able to come together and, just enjoy each other's company and celebrate each other is really vital.
And in spite of the politics that threaten them, this transgender community says they will continue to bloom.
Tomorrow, a much different tone. California lawmakers will weigh 2 Republican state bills, one that will ban transgender girls from participating in school sports, and another that would require transgender students to use bathrooms and locker rooms that correspond with their gender assigned at birth. Up next, a new chapter for the A's as they play their first home game in Sacramento.
I'm glad they're coming, but the ticket prices are way higher than I want to pay.
But why? It's all coming with a bit of sticker shock for some fans.
Saw scattered showers across the Bay Area today, including a band of heavier rain that made its way across San Francisco around 3 o'clock. That continues to move farther off to the east. But we still have lingering showers out there this evening, and there's more of this in the forecast tomorrow. Details on that and a drier, warmer weekend forecast coming up at First Alert Weather.
It is a new chapter for the A's. The team is playing their first game in their temporary home at Sutter Health Park in West Sacramento tonight. One Bay Area A's fan tells us it's a tough day for him.
I think it's kind of unfair to the fan base. Like they had a really big, loyal fan base, and then just to get abandoned like that, I just don't really think it's the right thing to do. I feel like there was other solutions to find. It's kind of like the Raiders. I'm a huge Raiders fan, and them leaving to Las Vegas is just doesn't sit right with me.
Hey, I get it. A lot of us get that. Tonight's game is a sellout, though, but fans wanting to catch an A's game this season may soon experience some sticker shock. An A's ticket at Sutter Health Park is the most expensive in Major League Baseball, with a median ticket price of $181. That's according to the secondary ticket site Game Time. New fans in Sacramento are split on the costs.
I'm glad they're coming, but the ticket prices are way higher than I want to pay.
If I could get a couple tickets a few rows behind home plate, I'd be willing to pay a couple $100 for it.
Sutter Health Park is a much smaller stadium, so tickets are going to be in high demand. According to StubHub, the most in-demand A's home games are today's home opener against the Chicago Cubs and the A's series with the Yankees in May. July 4th against the Giants is, of course, also a hot ticket. All right, from basketball to baseball, we are bringing you the Battle of the Bay 2.0. That would be from baseball to basketball. Baseball to baseball. Thank you, Paul. It's a matchup between the San Jose Giants and Oakland Ballers. They're playing in Excite Park in San Jose, but you can catch all the action at home this Wednesday at 6 p.m. on KPIX Plus. I got excited because of the music. Is that an excuse?
It is now.
Now to our weather. Scattered showers, yes, across the Bay Area. Brought back those umbrellas today. Here's what it looked like in San Jose, where there were some brief downpours earlier in the day. All this rain bringing in signs of spring on Mount Diablo. Look at this. You can just see all of the green covering the mountain. And we might even see some patches of wildflowers. All this, there you go, thanks to the winter storms and intermittent rain that we have been getting. Beautiful super bloom. Check that out.
Yeah.
And thanks for your help on the sports commentary.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. If you need me.
Definitely baseball. And the A's are already losing in their home opener.
Oh,
they haven't gotten to bat yet, and they're down 1-0.
All right.
Yeah,
Well,
so
glad we're working today.
Yeah, we didn't spend our money.
No,
on
we
the
did not.
Home opener tickets.
No.
Or a road trip to Sacramento. Let's take a look at what's happening. You would be driving through some scattered showers. This is the radar replay, big picture perspective over the last 12 hours. And you can see that it's not just the Bay Area. Much of the West Coast seeing these scattered showers, some brief heavy downpours. The center of the storm system is still swirling away off the coast. So little spokes of energy kind of rotate around that. And every time one of those swings through the atmosphere overhead, just wrings a little bit more moisture out of the atmospheric dish rag. And that's going to be the case as we head through tonight and tomorrow as well. Let's take a look at where things stand on First Alert Doppler at the moment. And we did see that round of heavier rainfall that made its way through this afternoon. That is now pushing farther and farther off to the east. In fact, it's out of the Bay Area entirely. What we're left with is scattered light to moderate rainfall. There's a little heavier downpour here around Oakland. That's moving off to the east as well. These showers are going to be with us off and on through the rest of tonight. In fact, Futurecast through 5 o'clock tomorrow morning shows the same pattern repeating itself. Showers showers, a little break, more showers, another little break. It's really almost impossible to pin down exactly when and where the heaviest downpours are going to occur with this type of pattern, just because it's kind of loosely organized. But we are going to see those showers through early tomorrow morning and likely through the first half of the day tomorrow at least. So another day where you want to grab the umbrella, or really more of the rain jacket, because it's going to be windy as well. The rain jacket's going to be a more useful accessory. The umbrella may just get pulled out of your hand or turn inside out, and then it doesn't do you a whole lot of good. So we head through tomorrow afternoon, still showers, but they start to become fewer and farther between after about lunchtime or early afternoon. Still a couple of those showers out there by early evening, but those will quiet down around this time tomorrow. As the sun is going down, the last of those showers should diminish to a couple lingering sprinkles, and then we're done. And the forecast looks dry through the rest of the work week and even into the weekend. Temperatures are going to be chilly tomorrow in between those showers. We're talking about upper 50s in the Santa Clara Valley. Most of our temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 50s. One of the warm spots will be Fairfield at 60 degrees. That's it for the warmest location on the map, and that's not very warm for the first day of April. All of these numbers are a good half dozen to dozen degrees below what's normal for early April, but steadily through the rest of this week, we are going to warm it up. So if you can put up the cool weather for one more day, things are starting to look up a little bit. But the breeze is going to make it feel even cooler tomorrow. Still a noticeable breeze out there this evening, some gusts in the 20 to 30 mile an hour range. Now those winds are going to diminish overnight, but we'll start off tomorrow with some gusts in that 20 to 30 mile an hour range right along the coast, and those are going to spread out to a greater extent as we head through the day tomorrow. Some 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts from time to time, especially around some of those heavier downpours. But even by late afternoon, when the showers are going to become really few and far between, it's still going to be breezy. It's still going to be cool. The winds die down again tomorrow night. They pick back up again on Wednesday, but it's not going to be as blustery as tomorrow. Baby steps towards calmer conditions. And then on Thursday, it does look like we are going to settle in to that calmer weather pattern that should stick around all the way through the weekend. In terms of additional rain on top of what we've already received, the amounts are going to be modest, anywhere from a few hundredths of an inch of rain to probably short of a quarter inch of additional rainfall in most locations around the Bay Area. Just depends on exactly where those heaviest downpours decide to set up. But again, that's the part that's really hard to pin down. In the Sierra, travel strongly discouraged. They're going to add up another at least foot or two, if not 3 or 4 feet of snow. US 50 and I-80, treacherous travel conditions as we head through tonight and tomorrow. So just wait until the weekend when the weather's going to be a lot more favorable for getting up there and taking advantage of that April powder. Temperatures are going to warm up. Even along the coast, you're going to be up into the low to mid 60s by Saturday and Sunday before a chance of light rain showers heads our way again by Sunday night into Monday. That's lower than a 50-50 chance. I wouldn't worry about it at this point. We'll watch it. The weekend does look dry. Those showers wouldn't move in until after sunset Sunday evening. Temperatures around the Bay should get up close to 70 degrees over the weekend. Nice for the first weekend in April. And really nice farther inland, temperatures up into the low to mid 70s Saturday and Sunday. So there is light at the end of this cool, windy, rather rainy tunnel. Jules?
Ooh, okay, sounds good. Paul, thank you. Up next, there may not be any local schools at this weekend's Final Four, but we'll tell you how 2 schools will still be represented in San Antonio. And coming up on the Primetime Edition, it was once one of the state's largest homeless encampments. Now new concerns for shelter housing former Wood Street residents. That's coming up tonight at 8 o'clock on PIX Plus.
This is the Northern California Honda dealers Madness Minute.
Well, there won't be any Cinderellas at this year's Final Four, as for just the second time in tournament history, all 4 #1 seeds, they made it to college basketball's biggest stage. And on our big stage here, Vern Glenn is here with the very latest. No Cinderellas, huh?
No.
Okay.
The selection committee has to be feeling pretty good. The 4 schools playing this Saturday in the Final Four come from either the East Coast or the South. But while the West Coast won't be represented, there is one strong Bay Area tie that will be in San Antonio this weekend. That is former St. Mary's player, USF coach Todd Golden here, returned to San Francisco over the weekend and led his Florida team to a comeback win over Texas Tech that sends the Gators to the first Final Four in 11 years.
It's crazy. I feel like I'm dreaming, you know. I was watching Round of 64 in like 8th grade, sneaking my phone into science class watching it. So now to say I'm playing in the Final Four is wild, you know.
I don't care that these guys were ranked high. They're badass players, man. They go into the Final Four now.
That's
Love
fun.
the emotion.
Yeah.
Golden and the Gators, they run with SEC rival Auburn on Saturday. Duke and Houston face off in the other matchup.
Nice. My mom keeps asking me how your brackets are doing.
I'm doing pretty well.
That's what I thought.
I'm doing pretty well. I got 3 of the 4 in the Final Four.
Okay.
I'm feeling pretty good where I'm positioned.
Nice
in this
job.
thing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Vern. Up next, an end of an era, the rush to get a few more strikes in as a 60-year-old bowling alley closes in Danville. Danville Bowl closing their doors today after 64 years in the community. Danville Bowl first opened in 1961 and has been popular for families and bowling enthusiasts in the area. Bowlers came out this weekend to enjoy one last bowl and also express some disappointment over this closing.
Well, it's a bit of a loss. This has been a central part of our hobbies and our life down here.
What's going here, I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to replace, unfortunately, the inexpensive, very fun times.
The property was recently sold to developers, although plans on what the land will become have not been released. Thanks so much for watching us. The news continues at 8 on PIX Plus or 44 Cable 12. We'll see you right back here at 11 o'clock. Have a good one.